are back with another session of Inking Voodoo over Philip 10, a commission I picked up at San Diego Con last year, 2024, and we are now in 2025, which is insanity. So yeah, here we are, and I'm doing these recordings in sessions, and also at the request of the person who owns this commission. They kind of wanted to have a recording as I'm inking this, and also Taboo, which I will post later on, different collectors, but both by Philip 10, and Taboo will follow Voodoo. These names are awesome. Both. Okay, so Voodoo from the Wildcats, Wildstorm. So we are now working on the figure, and I'm jumping around a lot. So thanks, guys. If you're keeping up, great. Take your Dramamine, and it's going to be a whole bunch of jumping around just because that's how I work. And we're also going to do, let's see. Yep, I think I'm going to do more of the figure in this one and background, finish up background later. Like sometimes I do the backgrounds last. And that, there's no rhyme or reason. Sometimes I just do. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, these sessions, I am thinking about addressing some questions or, interests that I've read in the comments on social media. So I appreciate you guys leaving those, and they're never a waste. I do read them. And any of them that are serious. Of course, you always have clowns chiming in. Hey, have your fun. But I am only addressing those who are actually serious comments. And if you're looking for answers, hopefully I address them here or other videos. That's why I am doing a lot of these videos. Because it's a convenient way for me to answer a lot of people and a lot of the same questions over and over again. I'm not going to answer them every time they come up, but I do hear you. And sometimes I'll make other videos and answer the same questions over again. So it's on you to find it. The answers are out there. Information is free, so it's on you to find it. And not just for myself, but a lot of artists are sharing our experiences, our techniques, visually, verbally, all that wonderful stuff. So a lot of free education here, guys, free classes, no student loans necessary. It's not going to cost you, your soul just to learn from our experience. You're still going to have to sit down and actually do it, because everyone has different ways of learning, and maybe you can pick up some tips and pointers, but the only way for you to get better or to figure out how what works best for you is to sit down and do it, and then you'll find your own little techniques or methods or little, subtle ways of adjusting, and come up with some other fancy stuff, that works best for you. But yes, so this is going to be some figure work and some line work, and let's see, what am I doing there? Okay, yep. Philip does a lot of line work, and someone says, I don't know, is it Jim Lee-ish? I don't know. But a lot of it's kind of larger, not real fine. So I'm trying to use more brush. Well, I normally use brush anyway. This is where brush comes in handy, where you can put in larger renderings, and especially if you have like paper, you don't know how the quality of the paper is going to be. And if you have a nib, sometimes, like if you have to go over it several times, you can really shred that paper. But brush works great for me here. And I think that, working with Philip has taught me a lot about having to adjust my brain in doing like larger line work, rendering work, and making that, because sometimes when you can use fine lines and you can use smaller renderings, you can hide a lot of stuff, but something on this scale really, really stands out. So, if it's a little off, it's going to really, really, kind of like your eyeballs will stumble on it. So I with every penciler I work on, with every style that I work on, I'm still doing what's natural for me, but it still takes a little bit of like a mental adjustment to kind of work with the penciler and their style and what what techniques they have, and even like the scale that they work on. It makes a huge all these little subtle things make a huge difference in the final result. So whenever I start with a new penciler, I tend to sit there for a little bit and really, really try to understand what it is that they're doing, how they're working, and how can I sort of like customize my style and my technique to what they're doing. So that way the art works together, or the styles work together, complement each other. And you can be really, really good, but maybe it's just not a style that you mesh with. Ooh, that one was tough. So I do take a little bit of time to try to understand it first, and then you can't like work that in your head forever. So at some point you have to jump in. So maybe you start in like areas where, that isn't so like critical, like, maybe not start on the face or the hair or the stuff that people look at, like boobs. But warm up in other areas and try to get like a little bit of a comfort zone. And then you can move on to other more intricate areas. But yeah, for sure, it does take time to kind of get used to, if you're jumping from style to style. So as an inker, if you're not inking your own stuff, when you ink your own stuff, it doesn't matter. I mean, not that it doesn't matter, but it's a different ball game entirely. But if you're working as a professional inker where you have to jump around from penciler to penciler, it does take that little bit of like adjusting your brain to a different style. So hopefully this has been somewhat entertaining. I think we'll have one more session where I'm going to try to wrap it up, because these are getting to be too long even for me. So I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. And in the next section, I believe we are going to finish up this lovely lady, and then we are going to move on to Taboo, also by Philip Tan. So again, guys, thanks for your support. As a professional comic book artist, we're all doing our best to still do what we love doing and feed our family and ourselves and pay our bills. So any little bit that we can do, whether it's a convention, original art, or these silly little social media platforms, we appreciate your support. And if you can, buy original art that also supports us. Big or small, there are things of all kinds of, different price range. So thanks again for being here. See you next time.